it is.
So, I'm driving, and there's a couple of things I could have done today, but I made a conscious choice to be in my own energy today. I don't know if that makes sense. I've been going through a weird phase where I'm trying to detach from people and rely on them in certain ways. Sometimes that can be difficult because you're so used to relying on people for certain things, or them treating you a certain way, or acting a certain, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's things that as humans we rely on, whether that be friends, family, whatever. But, you know, sometimes when you deal with people, you just gotta peep energy and keep it where it's at. Because I was speaking to someone today, it's a nice day out, and I was just like, the energy that I'm getting from you right now is not giving the way I'm feeling and how I would like to feel throughout my entire day. So I need to distance myself from you. And it's okay to have bad days. It's okay to need your space, but it's also not your job to have other people relay that message to you. It's on them to want to communicate that to you. So if you're dealing with people who are being passive aggressive or don't know how to communicate, one, you can see about hoping that, you know, maybe communicating with them specifically, you know, you can learn to have a healthier style about communicating in a way that's comfortable for both parties. In my particular situation, I know the person all too well. But yeah, and then even like leaving the house, I was going down this two-way street, but there's cars parked on either side, so you have to tread carefully on the street because cars come from both directions. I have a big ass car, there's a small car coming, and the car saw me coming first but decided to go anyways. And then when I hopped to caution, you know, he was mad, screaming from inside his car with the person in the passenger seat. And it's like, even with like the outside world and things that you don't have control over, you need to be a sane enough person with yourself not to project your energies and how you feel onto other people, even in the landscape of the people who don't know you, because they might be having a bad day and they feel like the best way to handle that is to be aggressive towards somebody else that they don't know, or whatever the case. Maybe he had a conversation with Shorty in the passenger seat and now he's just mad overall. But as an individual, you need to learn how to take 90 seconds to really think about how you want to feel in that moment. So as opposed to yelling back or whatever, I just kept driving, and I'm just happy that I'm safe, that I didn't get in a car accident. You feel me? So moral of the story is like, this year I really want to do things and set tactics or ways that are going to help me and enable me to deal with conflict in the outside world and internal conflict in a healthy way. And that requires me to be aware of how I'm feeling and taking the extra time to take a step back and think about how I want to feel, because at the end of the day, nobody can make you feel any type of way. As a human, you make a choice. You decide how you want to feel. So even if Sally Sue is being disrespectful, you have a choice to either be upset or to be like, shit happens, and, you know, continue to have a good day nonetheless. Letting your environment and the people around you determine that for you is just not healthy. And as humans, we need to learn how to control our emotions a little bit better and just deal with shit on a regular basis. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I do want to go down the street here. Is it? It's not blocked off, right? But yeah. Just like, you know, as humans, let's do better. Let's take better care of ourselves before we lash out on other people, because it's so much easier to lash out on somebody else because we're going through things rather than deal with things internally and project onto other people. It's so much harder being a good person than it is a bad person, because when you're a good person, you take measures and you are more cautious about how you want to maneuver through things. People who don't give a fuck about the existence of the world around them are going to do the emotion that initially comes to them and lash out regardless of how the people around them feel or what kind of energy they're giving off. So just some self-reflection time in my car, you know what I'm saying? And I hope that resonates with some of you, just to find inner peace within yourself and do things to train yourself to have that inner peace in the moment. And you can do this every day. There's always shit that's happening every day. That way you're not projecting and you feel good about yourself at the end of the day. You're not stressing over someone yelling at you in an opposite car, someone you don't even know. You're not worried about people shitty comments about what you want to do with your future. Whatever the case is, just be conscious and be aware of the things around you, people's energy, and take a better effort to learn how to maneuver those spaces, so that way, regardless of what happens with the world around you, you got shit under control in here. I don't know. I just feel like people have a hard time realizing that their actions really do affect the people around them, and then they don't want to take accountability for how they make people feel. And then when it's time, if they need something or whatever the case may be, they're like, oh, why don't people fuck with me? And it's like, because people aren't trying to be surrounded around negative energy. You feel me? Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that shit. So let's just be better people. And it's hard. It's so hard to protect yourself and like your energy. And not to say that these people are bad people, because they're not, but it's just so hard to shield yourself against people that you're so used to, because you don't want to hurt their feelings or feel like like they on some shit, even though they are. But it's like, at the end of the day, like, for the both, like, the sanity of like both people, it's important to protect yourself first, so that way there's a healthy relationship in the long run. Like, and especially, like, we need to do better at doing shit when we peep shit from the beginning, because we wait too long as humans to address things in a healthy way, create communication that works, express how we feel, and like just create like healthy dynamics. It's not good. One major thing last year that happened is I went out to go support an event, and I had followed up with somebody at the event, just to see about like hanging out, and I was told everything about me that was unuseful to them. Things about me that I don't have naturally, whether that be a singing voice, or can I rap, or any, outside of video editing. And then even with the video stuff that I'm very good at, they try to downplay my talents because it wasn't of use to them. And it's like what are you going through right now that's forcing you to set the tone or dynamics for other people, that you feel the need to project that type of energy onto people and to belittle other people or try to belittle other people because of your circumstances? That's never okay. Like, nobody should have to go through that. You shouldn't have to deal with anyone doing that. And it took me realizing, like, I'm better than this. I'm not going to give that energy back. We're not matching energy this year, because that's also the issue, is that, people hurt people, and it becomes this cycle. So no, like, I was like, you know what? Understood. I see your motives. I see where you're at mentally, and that's okay. You're entitled to your opinion about me and who I am as a person. But you're not going to make me feel bad about things that the same way you took the time to learn your creatives and your talents or whatever that may be, I did the same thing. And I feel very good about my talents and where I'm at in my life. When I think back on my life 4 months ago, let alone like my job, my circumstances, my pay, it's like I had to really think back and like be grateful and thank the universe and thank God for everything that I have, because it could be a lot different and it could be a lot worse. Like shit is tough, and I'm young. So it's so easy to lash out on people and match energy and all that, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, look at it as like an opportunity for you to protect your own energy and your peace and well-being when you go to bed at night, knowing yourself, because it takes a lot of energy to have the confidence to follow your dreams, do what you want to do, and to have that inner peace. And people envy that. And, you know, like I said, misery loves company. Hurt people, and people are going to do everything in their power to tear you down. But you need to be a big enough person to be like, all right, like, I peep shit, and although you're my friend or although you're a stranger, those words ain't got nothing to do with me. There was this TikTok I was watching, and shorty was like, yeah, like, me and my husband are moving to Ohio, and, you know, we've been getting a lot of backlash about it. I guess, let's say that we're from Minnesota. So, like, yeah, we currently live in Minnesota, and, you know, we let people know that we're moving. And we kept hearing stuff, like, negative stuff about what we were moving to. And she's like, my mom gave me the advice, like, just don't argue back. Why are you arguing back with people? And so she said when she approached the same people down the line, and they were like, oh, well, it rains a lot in Ohio, or it's cold out there in Ohio. Her response was like, yeah, you're right. It is cold in Ohio. Yeah, you're right. It is raining in Ohio. And it's like people projecting their own fears or things that they wish that they can do onto you so that you can't fulfill or step out into the things that you want to do for yourself. And it's like people are going to envy you and say things and create insecurities in you that you didn't have before, but because they see that you're pursuing something that you want to do, that makes them insecure about where they're at in life or how they feel or how, you know what I mean? Like in reality, that ain't got nothing to do with them. And the funny thing about people is, like, if the same people who were so pressed and so worried about other people use that same energy to just worry about themselves, they would be way further out in life than where they are now. You know, like, all that worrying you're doing about Sally Sue and her boyfriend, first of all, why do you give a fuck? Why do you care? And second of all, it's like, you don't think like you're using more energy to worry about other people and what they're doing when you can just be using that same energy to get your body right, get your job right. If you're unhappy, use that energy to put into those situations where you're unhappy, as opposed to making yourself more miserable worrying about other people and shit that ain't got nothing to do with you. So I don't know, but these past 2 years, like, and I said this before, like, 2020 was a year to, like, kind of look at your surroundings and get comfortable with yourself as an individual by yourself in your space. Because one, that shit put into perspective that people really be running away from their problems and they don't know how to be alone by themselves. But two, it's like also the people around you and who's really there to rock with you. 2021 was like, all right, like, how am I gonna execute these things that I figured out in 2020 that I feel like, one, aren't where they need to be. So that could be like cutting people off, searching for new jobs, whatever that is. And then this year, I feel like people have this willingness and this good feeling about this year being a good year because people really took time for themselves for once. You know, they really thought about these past 2 years, what's going on in their lives and what needs to happen in order for shit to go as planned. And I think that's beautiful. I love that. You know, it takes a lot of energy, you know, to get in those spaces, and the fact that people are taking steps to get there is beautiful. But yeah, it just makes me sad when, like, people project or, like, they don't want to look at how they affect other people and, you know, like, all that stuff, because it's like not only are you affecting the people around you, but it's like that just shows that you have something internally that you need to deal with that you're not ready to deal with yet. And when you decide, you know, like, eventually you're gonna have to face that, you know, your shadow demons. And I just really hope that people, one, they can really get done all the goals, because I feel the same way. I feel like it's gonna be a great year. I really hope that they can kind of take on these things and also execute their goals. 4 months ago, because I've been on this journey for maybe like the past 2 years, I was going to a lot of fucking events in 2020. I was just surrounding myself with people, and at the time I was like, I really want to meet new friends and I really want to put myself out there. But what I was really doing is taking on other people's energies, and they was sucking on all my good energy, you know. So I was just in this weird place where I was going to these events, but it wasn't fulfilling because I was dealing with all these negative people, you know what I mean, who were draining me. 2021, I was like, all right, like, I realized that as much as I go to these events to support these artists and all these things, I need to stop surrounding myself with people who don't fuck with me or don't like me, even if the support is genuine, because nobody knows your true intentions but you. And you can try and explain that to people, but not everybody's gonna get it, and regardless of where you're coming from, people are gonna take it how they're gonna take it, and that's okay. So I really had to be like, all right, I'm really only gonna pop up for the things I really want to go to. I'm not just gonna go to put myself out there, because my energy is precious and I need that energy for myself, so that when I go and I'm doing what I need to do, like get my booty thick and my abs on flat and my back right, we good to go. So I said, all right, I'm gonna start going to these events. I'm only gonna go to the ones I really want to go to, and it set a better intention for myself when I went to these events, because I had more fun and I had an expectation about how I wanted to move. And I saved time and energy, like going to these events to go do something else. And like I said, even like the most recent event I went to, it put a lot of things into perspective about how people really view me and what their motives are when they come and approach me. And I became more self-aware about not only myself, but the people around me. I hope all this is making sense. But yeah, and then because I really worked on myself, and because I wasn't going to all these events, I was able to find a really good job, because I was journaling, I was manifesting, I was talking to God, I was talking to the universe about what I wanted for myself and how I wanted to set my future self up. And I talk about this in other videos as well. Yeah, like I just really wanted to set myself up for success, and I know that took like a lot of energy for me to really look inside myself and see what's wrong with the picture that I'm in right now, who's surrounding me, where my energy is going to, but also putting in the work to get there. So luckily for me, last year I was able to achieve a lot. Like one of my biggest goals, which wasn't even on the table 4 months ago, let's make that very clear, that wasn't even something that was of concern to me 4 or 5 months ago, was paying off my student loans. And that's a huge accomplishment, because I'm only 25. I've been out of school for maybe like 4 or 5 years, and to say that I finished paying off my student loan debt is a huge accomplishment, because baby, there's people who are stuck with student loans for life. Some people don't even get a chance to finish paying off their student loans, and I talk about that in my other videos if you guys are curious to hear about that. But like, just stay strong out here, y'all. Thank you, sir. Yeah, just stay strong, stay true, don't lash out, like really think about your feelings, how you want to feel. Decide you're gonna have a good day. Decide that regardless of how people are making you feel, like you're setting the tone for yourself, yeah, like set the tone for yourself. Sorry, car, I really let too many people. And think about yourself. And you don't gotta be like, being selfish doesn't mean like you don't gotta be nasty to people, but really find that dynamic within yourself to like see things through. Because I'm not even an emotional person, but I find myself crying more often than not even because I'm sad, but because I'm happy. Like when I'm talking to universe and I'm journaling and I'm thinking about what I want for myself that technically I already have, I'm really sticking to that, and it's refreshing to read back on my journal entries and the things that I said I wanted. And because I put the work in, and because I knew like my energy was where it needed to be, that I could obtain those things. So moral of the story, y'all, is keep your head up, don't let people get the best of you, focus on yourself, focus on your energy, what you want, what you don't want, how you're gonna get there, create small goals, small checklists, have patience, because shit takes time, and you will get wherever it is you want to go. You're gonna reach your goals this year. Shit's gonna be okay, but you gotta want it for yourself. So shout out to y'all for following y'all dreams this year and getting shit done, because there's a lot of negative energy out there, and a lot of it is trying to bring people down. So yeah, anyways, that's all. Thanks for coming to my car TED talk, period, poo, purr, all that. want to tell one more thing. So I just got some chicken because a girl is hungry. I went to go get chicken because something in my soul told me you deserve it. Go get it. This lady is pissing me off with her driving. And the girl in there was just so delightful. Like, sis is working on a Saturday, okay? And she's giving everyone advice. You're like, oh yeah, come in tomorrow, like Super Bowl, whatever. But it's like, it's nice when you run into people who's matching energy, you know, and like healthy, positive energy. Feel me? So just know it's out there. It's out there. You just gotta create it for yourself, and you'll run into people who want to match it. That's all. Now I'm done.